Now on KCAL 9 News at 4:10, protests as University of California leaders prepare to increase tuition for thousands of students.
Plus, changing the rules. President Obama prepares to unveil his plan to overhaul immigration policies, a move that will affect millions of people.
And from a medical crisis to a financial crisis, why one family is now facing a $1 million medical bill their insurance refuses to cover.
Live from the Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, this is KCAL 9 News at 4. Live, local, late breaking.
Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Lena Wynn.
And I'm Sylvia Lopez. A hotly debated tuition hike at all UC schools took another step forward today.
The move comes despite angry protests by students and opposition from the governor himself. KCAL 9's Susie Suh is here now to explain what's behind the hike and how it could still be avoided. Susie?
That's right, Lena and Sylvia. Today, UC Board of Regents Committee voted 7-2 to tentatively approve the hike. Now, it would raise tuition 5% per year for the next 5 years, but critics say it's unnecessary. And today, the rising tide of protests turned violent.
Scuffles break out on the campus of UC San Francisco as protesters try to get into a meeting of the UC Regents Committee considering a tuition hike. Eventually, a door got broken as students faced off with police. At least one student was arrested. In the meantime, inside the building, UC President Janet Napolitano, the former head of Homeland Security, made her case for the hike. She says tuition has been frozen for 3 years.
State funding per student has dropped more than 50% since 2007-2008. State support for UC students remains near the lowest it has been in more than 30 years.
Governor Brown, who also has a vote on the committee, says the hike can be avoided with a small increase in state funding.
I do think there's enough money. I think $200 million would be quite adequate. And that's why I'm going to vote against the 5% tuition.
Governor wants a state UC committee to look at ways to reduce students' costs. If the 5% increase is approved, tuition would rise by $612 to $12,804. By 2019, tuition will be up to $15,564. On the campus of UCLA today, most students asked were opposed to the hike, but not all.
I mean, I think the UC system is a great system. I think there's a lot of resources they're trying to really give the students, so I think that it could be really beneficial.
People come from privileged, wealthy families, and other people don't. So the increase in price is going to cause another divide.
Supporters of the hike say they'll help offset higher pension and salary costs. Critics say the UC should reform its pension system before requiring students to pay more.
Well, today, the State Legislative Analyst's Office released its budget report and said there's a surplus of $4 billion. It said much of that money could go to education, and regents say the proposed hike allows for reductions if the UC system gets more state funding. The full vote is set for tomorrow. Susie Suh, KCAL 9 News. Lena, back to you.
Susie, thank you. Today, President Obama announced that he will sidestep Congress and take executive action on immigration. Details will be announced tomorrow. In a video released on Facebook, the president explained what he plans to do.
What I'm going to be laying out is the things that I can do with my lawful authority as president to make the system work better, even as I continue to work with Congress and encourage them to get a bipartisan, comprehensive bill that can solve the entire problem.
Republicans have warned the president against taking action, saying it would poison the well with the new GOP-led Congress. Some are now threatening a government shutdown. The Senate passed a bipartisan immigration bill last year, but the House never took it up. KCAL 9's Randy Page is live in the Satellite Center with the news many undocumented immigrants have been waiting to hear. Randy.
That it is. The question is which names will be on that list that will allow them to stay? Which kinds of people, immigrants here? That is a big open question, but I can tell you there are many people here hoping that they will be allowed to stay.
Look at my face.
Look at my face, Olga Cordero says, close to tears.
I feel really, really excited for my kids, especially, and for me too.
All 4 of her children and her 2-year-old granddaughter were born in the United States, so they are American citizens. She is not, and she is undocumented. So were you always living under the fear of having to leave?
Yeah.
But that could soon change. Tomorrow, President Obama is expected to unveil an executive order which would allow millions of undocumented immigrants, including Olga Cordero, to stay in the United States without fear of deportation.
This change and this possibility of executive action will just change people's lives for the better.
Angelica Salas, the executive director of the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles, says President Obama's executive order could dramatically impact the lives of millions of undocumented immigrants who've lived in the shadows in constant fear of deportation and separation from their American children.
It will mean that little children will know that their mom and dad will be with them, that they won't be separated from them, that they can go to bed at night and wake up in the morning and still have their parents at their side. It's going to be so significant for so many children who really, we see the pain and that fear that they live with of having mom and dad deported.
My dreams come true.
Your dreams come true.
My dreams come true.
The president does have his critics coming up tonight on CBS 2 News at 5. We'll hear from one of them. Live in the Satellite Center, Randy Page, KCAL 9 News.
All right, Randy, and President Obama will address the nation tomorrow at 5 p.m. Watch it live right here on KCAL 9 News and KCAL9.com.
Actor and comedian Bill Cosby dodges more questions about allegations of drugging and raping women. An Associated Press reporter today tried several times to ask him about the controversy.
I think you were told, I don't want to compromise your integrity, but I don't talk about it.
Several women, including former model Janice Dickinson, have come forward to say the comedian assaulted them in the past. Today, NBC announced they scrapped a TV project starring Cosby. Netflix has postponed airing the comedian's stand-up special. Cosby's lawyer has denied all the claims, saying there's documentary proof that Dickinson's claims are false.
Authorities are offering a reward to catch the suspects in a tow truck driver's murder. That driver was shot while repossessing a car. One man is in custody. 2 others are still on the loose. KCAL 9's Dave Lopez shows us the suspects' photos and the emotional plea from the victim's family.
My son was a very good man. He was a good father.
What these gentlemen, these young men have taken from us is undescribable.
The sister and mother of Stephen Lawson still can't believe the cruelty of the suspects that gunned him down last July in the city of Southgate.
The Southgate Police Department has offered a $5,000 reward to assist with the culmination of this investigation.
Detectives say this man, Davian Harrison, was one of 2 shooters. On this security video, taken from a 7-Eleven store in Compton, which they released today, shows Lawson driving his tow truck into a 7-Eleven parking lot in Compton. According to deputies, Harrison is the man you see jump out of one of the 2 vehicles that was chasing that tow truck. And they say that Harrison opened fire on Lawson and missed him. Darrell Clark Jr., say detectives, was driving Harrison in the car that night, and now the 2 are missing, wanted for murder.
If somebody's seen them that time of night, please tell them.
Lawson had just repossessed a car that night. The owner of the vehicle, according to detectives, had too much to drink and was passed out in the back seat. Lawson didn't know that. The suspects, say detectives, were close friends of the female in the back seat, and they were angry that her car was being towed with her in it. And that's why they gave chase. And the chase continued for 4 miles from Compton to Southgate, where detectives say Lawson made a right turn off a rail right behind me onto Firestone Boulevard. They believe he was trying to get on the 710 freeway, which is just over the hill. But as he made the turn, according to detectives, he crashed into another vehicle, completely separate from the chase. He was now trapped. Detectives then say the 2 suspects from 2 cars got out, went up to Lawson, opened fire, shot him multiple times in the chest, killing him.
I believe that's why he stopped at 7-Eleven, was to drop the car, give it back to the person. But they didn't know that because they started shooting.
Detectives believe that's what Lawson was going to do, drop the car at 7-Eleven when he realized a woman was inside. But he never got the chance.
Our pain is forever, and all we want is justice.
From Monterey Park, Dave Lopez, KCAL 9 News.
Well, the LA Auto Show cruises into town.
Chief Meteorologist Josh Rubenstein is over there in the Mobile Center right now in the Mobile Lab with a preview for us. Hey, Josh.
Hey there, guys. Yes, we are out here downtown Los Angeles Convention Center. Want to give you the lay of the land because we've kind of got a backstage view here, and then we're going to show you what's going on outside. But take a look here. Off to my west, I do see some clouds left over from this morning, but we're clearing out nicely, so that's actually pretty good. We've got clear skies now, but another round of clouds moving in tomorrow, and that's ahead of a chance for some showers. Let me take you to the Mobile Weather Lab. It's kind of a special day for the Mobile Weather Lab. You know why? Because 2 years ago at the LA Auto Show, the Mobile Weather Lab was born. That's where we first showed it off to everybody. So it's kind of like a homecoming here for the Mobile Weather Lab. It's 69 degrees. We've kind of been hovering between 72 and 69 all day long here. The humidity has come up considerably. When I started out here at about noon today, the humidity levels were way down into the teens and 20s. Now we're starting to see it pop up, and we're seeing those winds out of the west. So a little bit more of that onshore flow kicking in. So this is a great tool for me and gives you an idea of what's going on weather-wise. And of course, it's the auto show weekend, huge weekend here. We're at the West Convention Center. In that door is the auto show, which is where I'm going to bring you here in just a minute or two. So stick around for that. I'm going to show you some cool stuff and give you all the information you need to know if you want to come on out here, because it starts on Friday. We're live here downtown Los Angeles. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Josh, thank you. Rough weather back east and more is on the way. The snow's already piled higher than ceilings of parts of western New York. KCAL 9's Ryan Nobles joins us live in Buffalo with the storm that so far has claimed 6 lives. A dangerous situation. Ryan.
Yeah, good evening from Buffalo, New York. And you know, the folks in Buffalo are generally accustomed to big snowstorms, but even folks here weren't prepared for this. This was a historic snowstorm by any measure. Look at what it's left behind. And keep in mind, it's not even Thanksgiving yet, and we are already seeing enormous piles of snow left behind from plows heading through these areas, clearing off the roads. But for the most part, the officials here telling folks not to go anywhere because the conditions are treacherous. It is difficult getting around. And one of the things that makes this storm so dangerous is that it was so intermittent. In some areas of Buffalo, maybe only 3 to 4 inches fell, but you could drive just 3 miles and run into 6 feet of snow. So that's why folks, including the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, telling people to stay cautious and not go anywhere.
It's going to get, in some ways, worse before it gets better. Don't be deceived. You look out the window today and the sun is shining, and we're using this window of opportunity, but the snow is going to fall once again.
And take a look. You can see there are folks driving by in any means that they can, including snowmobiles. We see a lot of big trucks like this dump truck here, where they're actually putting snow into dump trucks like this and moving it to other parts of the area which are less densely populated, so that because there's literally nowhere to put it. The good news for the people of Buffalo, though, is after another band of snow, which is going to leave another 2 to 3 feet over the next 24 to 48 hours, the temperatures are going to warm up. It could be 50 degrees by Sunday, so a huge shift in the weather by the end of the week. That's the latest now from Buffalo, New York. I'm Ryan Nobles. We'll send it back to you.
Can't come soon enough, Ryan. Thanks. Thieves steal $600,000 in drones, the low-tech way. They got away with the high-tech devices.
But first, a warning for dog owners. The insects had killed a family dog and injured another.
Plus, a man says he had to run for his life from a groundhog. See how the animal terrorized him and other neighbors.
And from a medical crisis to a financial crisis. The reason why one family is now facing $1 million medical bill that their insurance refuses to help cover. A dog impounded after an attack at a Riverside County park last week is back with its owners after detectives determined they got the wrong animal. 22-month-old Caden Sutton was mauled at Primrose Park in French Valley. The victim's grandfather led detectives to Dexter, a Labrador mix. It turns out that dog was not involved. Detectives are still looking for the animal responsible for the attack.
A local family has an urgent warning for residents of Covina. Watch out for killer bees. A swarm just killed one of their dogs and severely injured another. And KCAL 9's Amy Johnson reports it's still not clear where those bees came from.
When Luna died, they cried themselves to sleep.
Luna was the Umfenauer family's 1-year-old German Shepherd that they rescued along with Wolf when they were just 8 weeks old. And now the pair had apparently been stung by hundreds of bees in the family's Covina backyard.
And then we found the dogs there. Luna was in a doghouse, curled up in a ball, seizing. Wolf was standing up, both covered in bees.
The family rushed the two dogs, brother and sister, to the vet, but Luna didn't survive the attack. Wolf is being treated.
They estimated they pulled a few hundred just from the inside of his mouth, his ears, and his face.
The family says they cut down a lemon tree earlier that day, but never saw any bees.
I've seen 1 or 2 signs over the 7 years that we've lived here, and honestly, in the last couple of months, I haven't even actually seen a bee.
I would think it's highly unusual for a swarm of bees to sting a person or an animal.
Ken Fujioka is the director of the San Gabriel Valley Mosquito and Vector Control District.
Swarms of bees are not, they're not defending honey, they're not defending their young, and so they have no reason to seek out and attack.
But late this afternoon, we saw LA County agriculture inspectors looking for bees in the area. They wouldn't speak on camera, but they did tell us they found a nest 100 yards away. And now that Wolf is being cared for by the veterinarian, the family has focused their energy and concern on others. They're worried about children in their neighborhood, especially those at nearby Gladstone High School.
Letting people be aware, know that it can happen.
A website has been set up to help with the vet bills as the family continues to hold out hope that Wolf will survive.
We're optimistic, but we know he's not out of the woods yet.
In Covina, Amy Johnson, KCAL 9 News.
USC just announced it's giving the LAPD's Cadet Leadership Program a $100,000 a year grant.
This support speaks to USC's confidence in these young women and men and our shared commitment, along with LAPD, to our community and its youth.
If they do become police officers, we welcome them, of course, with open arms. But if they don't, it creates a path for them so they have an opportunity to be whoever and whatever they want to be and live very prosperous lives.
The program has about 5,000 members from 13 to 20 years old from across the city.
Well, there are all kinds of fun cars and other new items to check out at the LA Auto Show.
Yeah, Josh Rubenstein is out there right now. What are you sitting in now? That's cool looking.
Does it make me look cool? Does it make me look cooler than I am, I think? Easy on how you answer that, ladies. We are live out here downtown Los Angeles, the convention center. It's the LA Auto Show. I am in this Challenger SRT Hellcat. You always know it's a good car when on the dashboard over here, it tells me what the current G-force is. I think that's a very useful stat. We are here, of course, all the cool cars. This is the Dodge section. We're right by Fiat, Mitsubishi, Kia. And of course, the auto show starts on Friday. Everybody's very excited about it. And it might be a good weekend for it because we got temperatures that are going to be in the low 70s, maybe some clouds out there. There's a chance for some showers on the first day of the auto show. Let's do a little weather, and then we're going to talk to some folks about the big show here at the convention center. You can see on the Weather Network right now, I've got 70 degrees as you make your way out to Los Alamitos. It's 65 out in Granada Hills. We got 71 for a daytime high today. 72 is where we should be for this time of year. So kind of hovering around those seasonal averages, maybe just a little shy of that. You can see that there's a wave of energy, a couple waves of energy moving through. One was this morning. Another one's coming on Friday with a chance for a shower, so cooler weather. But then we warm up and we dry out as we make our way into next week. And in fact, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday look to be very warm, probably into the middle 80s. As you see on the Doppler radar, nothing happening now, and we did have a shower or two this morning. Most of that activity is up to the north, the Bay Area, Northern California, getting wet from a system that pushed through. Another one behind behind it, you can see that sort of curl of clouds right behind it. That's the next system that's going to happen on Friday. And when it pushes through, there's, again, that slight chance for a shower. It looks like it might fall apart, but we could see a little sprinkle. Still picking up a lot of snow in the Midwest, as you see. 64 degrees by dinner time tonight, which is just an hour or two. We've got mostly clear skies. In fact, I did see things clear out. It is a little breezy, but a nice night here in Southern California. Everybody commenting, what a lovely evening to be walking around downtown LA. Overnight lows 50s. We'll see a couple of clouds, mainly out by the beach, but some clouds. And as we make our way through the day, we're going to see increasing cloudiness. That's ahead of that system because any chance for rain will be late Thursday into Friday morning. And again, we're going to pick up that west-southwesterly wind there. Overnight lows, we're talking about temperatures into the 50s and 40s, 48 Moreno Valley, 50 degrees as you make your way out to the east there in the Inland Empire, and 50s out by the coast. Let's check that 7-day forecast real quickly here, and we will see temperatures that are going to be into the 70s, 60s, upper 60s basically, and then eventually warming a little bit on Saturday and Sunday. Good day to be out. And then on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, there's the warm-up that I was talking about. Okay, once again, live back out here at the Convention Center, I've got Brendan Flynn from the LA Auto Show. First of all, this is huge. This is a big event, right?
This is. It's one of the biggest events in the world, and it's really a treat for Angelenos because if you come here, you're going to be some of the first people in the world to see these brand new cars, and there's over 60 world and North American debuts.
I've seen all around at different displays here. They've got these cars under the cloth, and at some point they're going to reveal all that, and we get to get a sneak peek at it, right?
Yeah, it's a big deal. There's media from 60 different countries that come here, so LA is really a global stage for these reveals. But then we get it open up to the public, and good thing the weather's going to be nice because we have ride and drives outside. You can get behind the wheel of a lot of these cars and test drive them.
That's awesome. And it really is fun for the family, right? You were telling me that there are displays and things. Really, if you want to bring your kids along, there's something for them to do too, right?
No, it's a great family outing. I have little kids. They love coming here. There's a little kid Ford F-150 driving the dirt outside, and there's video games everywhere. So it's a good time.
Video games for me too, by the way. Okay, it starts on Friday. Thank you, Brendan, very much. There's actually like a little ski demo over there that I might try a little bit later on. We are live here at the Convention Center. We'll take another look at that forecast coming up in just a little bit. For now, it's back to you guys in Studio City.
All right, Josh, thanks. Well, a business that pampers babies.
The spa that gives babies a day of relaxation.
But first, he's a digital detective. How one man is going beyond the brushstrokes to unlock the mysteries of some of the world's greatest artworks.
A Cornell University engineering professor is bringing a new perspective to historic pieces of art. He's using computers to unveil hidden treasures from some of the world's gems. KCAL 9's Matt Burgoyne shows us what he's found.
Picture a masterpiece, the beauty of a Vermeer, the emotion of a Van Gogh. But few see through them like Richard Johnson, a digital detective who finds hidden patterns beneath the brushstrokes.
The technology advances continuously in terms of the images you can take of painting.
The Cornell University professor uses X-rays and algorithms to uncover clues about when paintings and prints were made, and if they're authentic.
We're not trying to displace the art historian, we're trying to extend their reach.
Johnson creates computer weave maps of the canvases to help tie paintings together.
So imagine that we cut it in half. This was painting 1 and this was painting 2. Then we can go and put them back together and find the ones that were on the same row, like that.
Johnson has helped art historians date and study paintings by Johann Vermeer and Diego Velázquez. More recently, he began analyzing the paper of Rembrandt prints. He works closely with art historians at major museums, like the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York.
This new computer analysis of Rick Johnson is one more technical tool in the box of studying pictures,
providing a new perspective on old artworks.
Museum curators in New York and Europe say Johnson's algorithm has become a valuable service to them.
Well, take a look. This is the face of a rodent on a rampage. Gary McGrath of Hampton, New Hampshire, said he was in his backyard yesterday when the groundhog came after him. He said the rodent chased him until he was able to escape into his house. McGrath later found out that the groundhog had chased the neighbor's dog earlier that same day.
I assumed maybe Murphy disturbed one of the baby groundhogs.
No one was hurt. Animal control was called and they took care of the animal.
Really? Hard to believe. 2 local coaches become quick-thinking heroes.
Coming up next, how they jumped into action to save the life of one of their students.
And the future in driving. We'll show you a new vehicle at the LA Auto Show that's been 15 years in the making.